Welcome to Be My Own Boss podcast. And I'm your host, Mike Hruby, broadcasting from deep behind enemy lines here in Massachusetts, where they are getting bluer by the day while the country is headed in a different direction. But we're still hard at work. There's some great news to share with you. The developments over the last couple weeks have been produced some very promising opportunities for independent contractors who want to get free of their United States Labor Department jail, where they're trapped by a new regulation that will outlaw virtually all independent contracting in any form, in any state, in any occupation, for any person. And it's terribly written. It might be overruled, but the fact is it's now federal law, and it will take a couple of different ways to undo it in order to get us all clear, being able to say, I'm my own boss, and not expect some guy with a cudgel to creep up behind us. All right. The most important thing to remember is that the new president, whatever you think of him, has a huge mandate to go back to constitutional law and constitutional government. And the Department of Labor is not inside that perimeter. They don't do things. Most of the things they do are not constitutional. And outlawing your ability to work as an independent contractor is certainly number one on the list, if I can't think of anything else. So we're going to get this fixed, but right now it's not fixed. President Trump has asked all his cabinet members, just wrote this down because I just heard it, to look at each one of their opportunities for change and to ask yourself, does it make the United States stronger? Does it make the United States safer? And does it make the United States more prosperous? And since an economy and a country and a culture are made up of the individuals within it, you can test that by seeing what an action does to independent contractors and to you yourself, to me, myself. For the past 29 years, we have had a Congress that has run with a cohesive majority, normally, and they have written bigger and bigger bills, creating what are called omnibus legislation that does one thing and does many things in one bill. And the minority side has not liked that. Basically, the Republicans have been in the minority for 29 years. Some years they weren't. They were in the majority, but they never really made substantial progress towards independence, freedom for independence for us. And in many other ways, the country went backwards. And with the election and now the inauguration and the reorganization of Congress and the appointment of cabinet posts that are going forward, I saw Mark Rubio was just made Secretary of State, so the crew is getting on the ship. Now we can begin to see the layout of what we're going to be able to accomplish. Yesterday, the new president had a very inspiring speech that he gave after his inauguration. And as well, in the previous week, there's another progress to report, is that the president seems to have formed some sort of loose partnership with a congressman named Kevin Kiley, who represents the district of part of California that is along the Nevada border where it's slanting geographically. And they seem to have agreed, if you kind of listen to the tea leaves, work and pressure Governor Gavin Newsom in California into, I'll call it, better governance. Gavin Newsom has made a number of what I think a lot of Californians think are serious policy mistakes, shutting off the water, not filling reservoirs, dumping fresh water into the ocean into San Francisco Bay and the ocean instead of saving it for dry days, which California has often and predictably, and many, many other policy mistakes, including the legislation named AB 5, which for a while outlawed all independent contracting in California and now just outlaws most independent contracting in California. That team of Kiley and Trump has enormous value for independent contractors because Kiley is the most informed individual in Congress about independent contracting. He fought Gavin Newsom and AB 5 for 6 years while he was in the Assembly, and now he's gone to Washington. He's spent 2 years, and he's been reelected, fighting it as chairman of the subcommittee of the Labor Department, where he's in charge of something that seems like workplace conditions for all workers. And he's absolutely committed to helping independent contractors. So, and they've begun working already. They've made a couple of major policy changes on. They're not going to put fish. They're not going to make fish more important than California residents, which is sure a great reassurance to the California residents. So the water is going to come down and be put in reservoirs. That is what I believe is the first step. Kiley tweeted this morning a couple of good newses about this, and it seems like Trump's going to do something about California almost every day for quite an extended period of time. This is absolutely fantastic because it means that one of the individuals who's going to be closest to the president from a policy basis is absolutely committed to freeing up independent contractors. It could not be better for independent contractors. The prospects, unless Trump himself were taking up the cudgel. I believe he's expecting Kevin Kiley to take up the cudgel and to work with him on that. And Kiley's going to work on it both nationwide and in California. So we have a very interested audience. We have to energize it. It's like an electrical circuit. Nothing's happening until we put the energy into it. And that's what I think we can get from being active and getting our message into Congress. So, and Congress is also, by changing to a different majority that has also of the same party as the president, it has changed the dynamics of what legislation will go through the Congress this time. And I've seen some speculation by insiders that fits completely with what I believe is likely to happen. So what I'm hearing makes me very happy, and I wanted to pass it along to you today, and also to talk about it with a very simple chart, a simple graphic. I think most of you, if you know how to drive, you will know how to you'll know how to visualize this scene. So what I'm going to do is, for a moment or two, I'm going to put on the document camera, and actually I'm going to do some. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to put on the DocuCam with me as the host in a thumbnail sketch. And if you're driving, I just have to I will have to do my best to paint a word picture for you. But the title is How Freelancers Can Get Out of Labor Department Jail Free, which is the title of our podcast. And Congress has been run, but what we have here is a couple of rectangles. We have a left and a right, just like two cars following each other at the stoplight. Looking down from above. On the left-hand side, we have a cohesive majority. This is the way Congress used to be. We have a very cohesive majority, and that was blue. I'm just going to use a high-tech blue pencil because this is just me today. And that is the cohesive majority that has governed for 29 years, and much of it governed by Nancy Pelosi, so you know the style. And we used to have a really weak minority of Republicans, and that was the smaller car. Again, these are two rectangles. And they couldn't get much done. What Pelosi and company learned is that you can put a whole bunch of legislation, good, bad, and indifferent, and it turned out to be mostly bad by the time they got done. Put it in omnibus, don't give anybody time to read it, don't get any public support, just jam it down the throats of the congressmen and men and women, and demand that they pass it. And then they put money in it for people's districts, they put money in it for people's favorite projects and for their favorite nonprofits, which meant it wound up being kind of crooked. So what you had is those two things. Then, in order to pass more legislation, from time to time they would try to, the cohesive majority would try to take individual swing voters out of the Republican side and move them over to vote with them on the majority side. And they would give little treats and make it possible for them to build up a majority and to make some of the Republicans dependent on Democrats for cooperation or support, and basically buy them or support fractious Republicans. And in this kind of climate, something like independent contractors, which goes against the unions and unions' wishes, and some of the left that believes in benefits without knowing what they mean, it puts them in control, creates a gate that the independent contractors can't break through for policy, because it's unlike what they do. They put the omnibus bills have all kinds of provisions in it for national security and money for this and money for that and big issues, and that nothing comes of anyone who raises the issue of independent contractors. So that didn't go anywhere for us, and it hasn't for the last 4 years. Now, if we take the present, we're going to put up another diagram that's very similar, still those two same cars, two rectangles bumping into each other. But now on the left side, we've got a frightened minority, and that you'd have to say the Democrats do not know what's happening and are really puzzled and are having some trouble figuring it out. But they're in the minority. They don't control Congress. And then we have what I will try to describe neutrally as a wary majority of Republicans. And they have organized the Congress. And they are looking to make moves, but they're not quite sure. There are a lot of things on their plate because so much has been damaged. So with this, an entirely new legislative strategy is going to come into effect. I'm making a prediction based upon what I know from my lobbying and my political work, and you hear signs of it online in people's and congressmen's Twitter feeds, X feeds. The excuse me, turning off my phone. What's going to happen is that the Republicans are going to discover, and they already have, that they can pass the legislation they really want if they do it in small bills, into small, short, very clear, very beneficial bills. You can imagine bills about the things that have really put the Republicans in a majority, control of the border, control of the budget, I would say protection for women, for instance, and women's privacy and their safety. So many exclusion of ill will factors in the Congress and in the government and in places like Maine, where our enemies are growing marijuana for sale illegally. All of these things they are discovering can be addressed individually, and that would allow them to make their majority cohesive. They're not going to attract many votes from the frightened minority, but they will attract some, particularly since each of these bills that's going to come out is going to be designed to be very hard to run in for most of their opponents. And so it's it's in the benefit of the Republicans to try to attract swing voters, which is we're aiming a swing voter over to the right-hand side, to attract swing voters from among the Democrats and use their votes to encourage the Democrats to endorse their positions, strengthen their internal majority, and improve the policies considerably in the U.S. So with that as a background, we have our Be My Own Boss legislation. It's standalone. It's designed to protect any individual who wants to be an independent contractor and permanently allow them the freedom to choose which work they want to do under contract as a business peer of their client, or to do work on the side under a different number, under their Social Security number, as a employee. And they can go back and forth, they can change, they can work with a bunch of clients and have a full-time or a part-time job. It just depends. They have to manage the paperwork and the responsibilities, which every one of you is able to do. You do it already. But it would make it legal and legitimate and protect it. So what the change in the Congress means that we need the voices more than ever of independent contractors. As they say, the windows don't stay open for long. And we have an interested Kylie and an interested Trump, and they're interested in working together, and they're interested in getting support so that they can, and legislation that they can put through Congress and get victories and protect their many constituents. Remember that we're pushing north of 85, 90 million voters, whatever it is. There's a lot of support and a huge mandate, and we want independent contractors to get into that. So if there's any time that any of you would like to either send an email or or a video to your congressman or post it online, then this is an opportunity to do so and have a very, very interested audience in Chairman Kiley, Subcommittee Chairman Kiley, and in your rep, no matter what party that rep is in, because some of those Democrats are, we don't know them yet, who they are. They're going to come over and they're going to vote for freelancer freedom because they know it's important for them to be able to win re-election and to represent their districts. So with that, let's see. So what I'm asking is I'm gonna go back to the host only scene, and I'm gonna transition and show me, and then I'm going to I'm just gonna mention that we have a QR code that you can use to get to our website that will allow you to take your own video. You can use it any way you want. You can create a video with your cell phone and post it to this website. You can go back to the recorded chat and the recorded video and take a picture of it, freeze it, take a picture of it with your camera, upload it, say it's okay for us to use it. So that's signing a simple release. We promise to be respectful. And we can take those. You can use. We'll send you a link. You can use the video. We can use it, and we will magnify our voices, because what we need is we need the voices of a couple thousand freelancers. I'd be happy if we got a couple out of this video. I'd be just delighted. And every single one is magnified. You're speaking for millions of people if you speak up and use your voice, your experience. All you have to do is say, I'm Mike from suburban Boston. You can use your name, first name, and your town or your state. I'm from Maine, I'm from Wyoming, Colorado, California, and here's why I prefer independent contracting. It's as simple as that. Upload it. If you want to take it 2 or 3 times, get it right. I know some people have said they did that and they were really happy with the later results. That's how I work normally. So anyway, this is a very exciting time. Use the video. I'll try to point in the correct direction. There we go. Use the video, the QR code. Send us a video. We will treat it with care and with great interest. I'll tweet it, and we'll get good circulation for it online. Some of these are the most replied to posts that I do online are the individual testimonials, the individual statements, and we will be able to do it. We have more prospects now to get this change into the law than at any time in the last 13 years that I have been working with New Jobs America to get this freedom. So it's very exciting, and I hope you can all share in this activity and contribute, and that we can together earn get our place in the law, get the protection of the law that we need and that we've earned and we deserve and that the Constitution calls for. So with that, if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat, and I will look at that with interest. In the meantime, I'm going to remove the Vlogi code and make that transition. And let's see, is there anything else? There's a document camera. I'll put this up here. It's kind of, let's see, I'm going to go to, sorry, this could be smoother, but so could I. DocuCam and small host. And all right, so we'll wrap up just by going through what's happened. Remember, the majority has changed in Congress. The majority is now a wary majority looking for ways to make themselves felt and to pass their agenda with minimum trouble. And the simplest thing is going to be small bills that they can pass and put into law and campaign on and get an even bigger majority in 2026 so that we can have freedom for all the individuals, all the citizens, and protection for anyone who wants to work in any style that they want to work in. Some voices are necessary. You're the energy, you're the catalyst, you're the power center, and if you can find a way to take a couple of minutes and help out here, it will be to your enormous benefit. You'll really enjoy doing it. Ron, Go Gig It Ron, has been working on this, has done 3 of them, and it has made him feel absolutely fantastic. He's got a great voice. He sings, and he goes to historic places. So that's everybody has their own way to do it. Love you. Good luck. Have fun.